Test. I don't know how high to put it anymore.
Is this okay? I can hear it, yeah. Might be too low for the recording. I'll have to boost the volume.
We'll just whisper the whole show and I'll just put the volume really loud. That's it.
So that'd sound weird though, right? If you
oh yeah,
because
Everyone
it whisper sounds
yeah,
everyone would start really breathy.
Yeah, it'd be really distracting, and you could hear all the background noise because I'd have to boost the audio.
Here's an hour of the wall clock ticking.
Welcome to the Tuesday ASMR.
You're leaving all this in the recording.
Yeah, I have to leave it in. Oh God, I hate that. Yuck. I don't know how people listen to that. You know, there's people who get off on like the chewing sound.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Smith made a video of him doing ASMR when he's rolling a joint.
Silent
Silent Bob.
Because he doesn't speak.
I watched it.
It was kind of genius though.
Yeah, but maybe I just don't get ASMR.
No, but
you have to have
his was a joke though. His was a parody.
You have to have proper headphones on because like the sounds go like
it was just a bit.
There's special microphones that are like 360.
Yeah.
So you get ones like the hairdressers and they go snip.
Yeah, that's disgusting. As well.
Anyway, welcome to the Tuesday review.
Hey, I'm not kink shaming anyone.
Yeah, no,
we're not kink shaming anyone.
Welcome to the Tuesday kink shame.
Welcome to the Tuesday review. I'm Nathan.
I'm James.
and I'm Callum.
And tonight
I'm James.
I'm Callum. I'm Nathan. Welcome to the Tuesday review. Anyway, tonight we are reviewing. Well, our main review is Ready or Not.
Talking about Ready or Not.
But we also saw Dolemite.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later.
Experienced Dolemite.
Experienced Dolemite. Dolemite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game.
So good, bitch. Are you for real?
For real.
So we saw Ready or Not last night.
Yeah.
And it was alright. Full spoilers.
Wait, before we get into full spoilers, I just want to say, like, I didn't really know anything about this movie going in.
We went in blind, basically.
Yeah, and I was like, I saw a few article headlines saying that it was good. I knew the basic premise. I saw the
trailer, yeah.
I didn't see the trailer.
You didn't see the trailer?
No, but I saw the poster with her with the gun and the wedding dress. And so I was kind of like, this might actually be really good. Like, it might be one of those sleeper movies where you're like, no one knows where it's coming until it's out there. And then you're like, whoa, that was really cool. Unfortunately, it left much to be desired on my feeling.
I've seen worse movies, but I've seen much better movies.
Yeah, it was good. Okay. It was good. Like, I enjoyed it. I might watch it again in the future. But yeah, it was just...
I went in with no expectations because I didn't particularly want to see it. I was just like, well, it's a movie I haven't seen. It was after work. I was like, sure, I'll go see a movie. I love going to see movies. Even if the movie's bad, at least I like being at the cinema.
Yeah.
So anyway...
You like eating your lollies.
he can eat them in the dark.
That's right. No one sees. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's right.
Shame.
Especially since they don't sell.
No shame in the dark.
They don't sell my favorite brand of lollies in supermarkets anymore.
You have to get them. You have to get like $10 packets at the cinema.
That's right.
But that's cinema pricing.
Worth every diabetic cent. Anyway, so I went in with no expectations. I thought it was pretty good. I like it was, but I knew the premise. And I was like, well, this is going to be kind of like standard fare. Yeah. No, it wasn't the best, but it was better than my expectations. So that added an extra layer of enjoyment for me.
Yeah.
I thought the cinematography was actually quite nice at times.
Yeah. We'll go into spoilers now because we'll actually like go into it. But yeah, if you haven't seen Ready or Not, full spoiler warning.
Worth a watch just to see it. If you're into like action thrillers.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I wouldn't call it a horror movie.
It's a thriller, yeah.
If you're into like kind of like bloody thrillers, it's worth a watch.
We'll talk about that later as well. I feel like they should have leaned more in the horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, like you were saying, I think it looks really nice. Yeah. For the most part.
It looks really crisp.
Yeah. I think my problem was because it all takes place during night and mostly with the power out or outside where there's no lights.
It's a very dark movie.
It's very dark, but then there's shaky cam in some places. So I was kind of...
Two of my most hated things.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like...
There's no CGI shit flying everywhere though, so...
Yeah, but it's like the movie looks so nice and then the camera starts wobbling and then everything goes dark.
And then the lights go...
And then I was like, like they were almost there because it looked... Otherwise, like, the costume design is really nice and the set design and the generally the lighting's nice because it's all like candlelight kind of thing. And then they just kind of ruin it, you know. But yeah, otherwise it looked really nice. I liked all the cast members. I like Samara Weaving.
Hugo Weaving's daughter. I didn't make those connections until our friend Rafael told me.
Oh, okay.
I made the connection when I saw her face, and I was like, "Is Hugo Weaving in Dread, Mr. Anderson?" And then she smiled, and I was like, because I just watched the Matrix trilogy, I was like, "Ah, it's Smith." No, but she's actually really good in this.
Yeah, she's getting big now. She started off like Home and Away, I think, and like she's like Margot Robbie success story. She's getting bigger now. Everyone else is really good.
Adam Brody's my spirit animal.
Oh yeah, with the drunk brother.
Yeah. He plays Daniel Ledomas.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we should say what it's about as well.
So basically, Samara Weaving plays
Grace.
Grace Ledomas.
Well, she hasn't been taken the name yet. Yeah,
she gets married at the start of the movie. Her name's Grace, and she's joining an illustrious, sort of billionaire family. The heirs, or the sort of the legacy of the Ledomas board games, or are they called Ledomas?
It's a gaming enterprise.
It's like a board gaming,
but they also own like sports teams.
Yeah, they're like a billionaire family.
Yeah, wealthy. She marries into this wealthy family, and on her wedding night, they tell her. It's tradition that everyone joining the family has to play a game. Yeah,
because they're all a bit mad with board games.
And it's like you have to do it. You can't break tradition, kind of thing. And you pick a card, and whatever game's written on the card, you play it. You don't have to win. You just have to play it.
Yeah.
Before the night's through.
Yeah, before dawn.
Yeah. What she doesn't know is that there is one card called hide and seek, which if you pick it, you have to play hide and seek. But the goal of the family members is to kill you, so you have to. And
that's allegedly the only bad card in the.
Yeah. So and apparently, like they say in the movie, that it's like it's only happened once before the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like
and we see a flashback of that in the sort of the start of the film. Yeah.
And like other family members have had like chess and stuff like that.
It's not like every time someone marries into the family that they get murdered, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Because then there'd be no family left over at the end of it, really.
So it's like, sometimes, all you have to do is play chess or checkers or whatever. But on this night, she picks the hide and seek card and finds out that the family's trying to kill her with all these antique weapons.
Because the whole thing is you have to kill her as the great-grandfather would have done in his time.
Yeah.
So like old-timey weapon, like old-timey guns.
Crossbows,
that you kind of have to put the gunshot. I'm assuming it's either they're fake bullets, or do you have to do gunshot with like the 1800?
No, they were real guns. Like they weren't like old-timey.
It wasn't like a flintlock kind of thing. It was like, because it's like late 1800s, because they had like shells,
normal
and stuff.
rifles, and stuff. Yeah.
But like stuff,
crossbows.
You can't use like
machine
cell
SMGs.
phones. They turn off the security cameras. It's like it's like a traditional kind of and it's like you'd think that would be like a cat and mouse game where she's like going through the house trying to get out and trying to get away from him, but it quickly just becomes her kind of just hiding a lot, running away. And the family kind of plodding around the house, not really
slowly
knowing
getting more
what to
desperate
do.
While they kill each other by accident.
Yeah, but that's another problem I have with the movie is, so there's the rich family who this is their tradition, and then there's Grace who's, from an, I guess, poorer background. She's raised in foster care or whatever.
They're called peasants, James.
So she's coming into the family, and so you got this, evil rich people, to air quotes. But one of my problems with the movie is they don't lean too heavily on that. Like, they should have really leaned on the whole, like, evil rich people, like, gluttonous, greedy.
Kind of black magic Satanist worshipping.
Like, they should have really doubled down on the, like...
soul-selling.
The wickedness.
Yeah, because the characters, they're all kind of just bumbling idiots, like, who accidentally kill the maids. And that's another problem I have with the movie is most of the kills for the first half of the movie are the maids and the butler.
The sort of,
So it's like the poor people get... And I'm like, are they making a statement where the help gets hurt in place of the rich people?
It's probably because they're more expendable than the primary characters.
But I felt the writers just didn't want to kill off their
primary character,
which I felt was a mistake.
Yeah?
Like, I feel like if you're going to make a movie about a bunch of rich people trying to kill a poor person, the poor person, when they fight back,
There needs to be weight.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been more of a Home Alone, Die Hard kind of thing where she's trapped in this big mansion and there are all these rich people running. I feel like maybe there should have been more rich relatives.
Yeah.
Like then that way there's more people to kill.
You could also have more dynamics between them as well.
Yeah, and and then she should have like not deliberately tried to kill them because you don't want to portray her as a killer as well, but she's kind of forced into fighting back and, kills them. And also, they should have been more archetypal. Like, there's a character, Fitch, who's like kind of fatter guy who's like, bit of an idiot. I mean, they're all kind of idiots, but like
in their own way.
They should have really doubled down on that, made him really fat, and just made him eating all the time.
And he could have spent the whole movie on the toilet.
Yeah, that was actually funny when he's on the toilet, and I was like, it would be really funny if he's just on there the whole movie. But yeah, they should have really gone, like there should have been, the daughter should have been really obsessed with her looks all the time, and she should have been like really plastic surgery.
Really exaggerated.
Like exaggerated plastic surgery. The father should have always been talking about the bottom line and profits and, his company. But they don't really do that.
No.
It's just like they're a bunch of rich people. They're kind of dumb. They don't really know how to use the weapons. They've never really done this before. And then all the maids and butler get killed by accident. And Grace kind of gets like thrown through this gauntlet of horrors and gets, beaten and cut and shot and just horrible, horrible things happen to her. But she kind of lacks agency. She doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, because they make her run away like all the time, which I understand.
Like again, I understand they don't want to make her into a killing machine, but it's just like the movie doesn't live up to the premise, and it doesn't live up to the poster with her in the wedding gown with the like elephant gun, and like there's a bit in the movie where she kind of looks herself in the mirror and she's got like the bandolier of ammunition and the wedding dress and the gun, and she's like, Jesus. And I was like, cool, this is the moment where she's going to fight back and, it's going to become like a Die Hard situation. And immediately the gun's useless. Yeah, the gun's useless, and she gets like, just back to where she was. And there's actually before that, she takes her high heels off so she can walk around more freely and without, more silently. And I was like, oh, cool, they're doing maybe a Die Hard thing where she's going to be barefoot in this house. And so that could pose a threat to herself. If she goes outside, that could be a problem. But no, the next scene, she puts on sneakers.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, if she's putting on the sneakers and she gets the gun, they're gearing her up to fight back. No, then she loses that. So, it's like every time an interesting development happens, they take it away from her so she can be more of a victim. And she never really overcomes that until the very, very end, where Deus Ex Machina kind of saves her.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie, the premise is interesting. They should have just really doubled down on the evil rich people chasing around their house, cat and mouse, like really like her trying to Home Alone her way out of the situation.
I think that it would have been more interesting if instead of using the weapons, she did have to like make booby traps in the house.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But obviously you like I said, like you don't want to turn her into a killing machine, and also there have been movies before like Rambo and Die Hard where you've got a experienced person who knows how to use guns and make traps or whatever, and you've got You're Next, which is a horror movie that subverts the whole final girl kind of thing, where it's like she's not a helpless victim, she's actually like a really good survivalist kind of thing. So that's been done before. But it's more interesting when you've got a character who's smart and who can use their environment. And it's more interesting when you've got a filmmaker or a writer or a director who can say, oh, well, what if she improvised this weapon? Or what if she hid in this unusual place? What happens in the movies, she just kind of tiptoes around, gets caught in some bad situations. It's not really interesting, It doesn't live up to the premise of she's being chased around the house by rich people with guns.
And it's not, but there's like, and it could have been even more exciting than that, because it's not just rich people with guns. It's rich Satanist people with guns.
And that's the other thing. They should have turned the characters into archetypes and doubled down on the whole like greedy rich people being the bad guys. they should have, as they are in real life, they should have doubled down on the whole Satanist thing, on the whole most dangerous game tradition, hunting humans. You know, they should have doubled down on the curse, the family curse. And especially, I think, after the movie, we were talking about the box that contains the cards. Like, what? It's just like, it's like a little black box with some like engravings on it. And the
right out of puzzle box,
right out of your
Jumanji style.
So it's very Clive Barker.
Right out of your, I'll say, right out of your Hellraiser playbook.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing is they don't go into that Hellraiser territory, which is what I think they should go. Not all that way, but I'll explain that. Where the box, the father explains that there was a man, the great grandfather of the family who created the fortune. He met a man while traveling. LaBelle,
that's it.
Yeah, Mr. LaBelle, who basically offered fame and fortune to Grandpa Ladomus.
Ladomus, yes.
And the only thing he had to do was play a game with him, which is this little card box. And so there's all this, you know, mystery behind, you know. And then you find out that, like, LaBelle was like the devil and there was a curse, and which is really cool. But the box is just like, it's just like a little box, and like a little compartment comes out and there's a card in there. And I was like, it would be cool if it was more like...
Yeah, there's like a spike on top.
Yeah, there's like a spike where it pricks your blood and it prints the card in your... Yeah. Or like a Hellraiser thing where it's like a puzzle box that kind of you have to open in a certain way, and it kind of, you know, Guillermo del Toro style has all these mechanical moving parts, you know. And then they should have doubled down on the whole LaBelle backstory thing.
We should also note that the main game, one of the big games that made the family a lot of money, is called LaBelle's Gambit.
Yeah,
which is a way better name for the film than Ready or Not.
But that's like the name of the novel, and then Ready or Not is the name of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, they would never, even if this was like a small indie movie, they would never name it LaBelle's Gambit because people would be like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, it has to be something boring so the audiences can
Ready
understand.
or Not is just so boring and accessible.
The only way the title could have been worse if they just called it Hide and Seek.
Yeah, which I think there's already a movie called... I mean, there's probably several movies called Hide and Seek, but yeah.
Can I just say, I think that this movie, this is a very different movie, but if it was a Hellraiser Clive Barker situation, where all of the people in the house have to hide from some demon creature that like hunts them, that would have been an interesting movie.
Don't say any more. We're going to write that movie.
No, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like Ready or Not because here come the demons.
Yeah.
And they have to survive until dawn. And it's like an Evil Dead situation, maybe.
They could actually... All right, copyright. It's going to be called Family Reunion, and each year a family has to reunite to fight off the demons that curse their family.
Done.
Yeah, copyright.
Send us a check. Oh, wait. So, actually, this reminded me of a joke. Before the movie, it's the logo, Fox Searchlight.
Yeah.
And I was like, leaned over to Nathan. I'm like, this movie's never getting released on Blu-ray. So, yeah. Fox, don't send us a check, but another company send us a check who can actually pay it. It won't... Yeah, if Fox sends it, it'll bounce.
More on that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, well, sorry, Callum, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, it would have been more interesting if the more supernatural element was to the fore.
But so, like when I say there should be more like devil stuff and more Satanist stuff, I'm not saying there should be physical demons. I just feel like it should have just been more creepy and atmospheric and like
more interesting.
More world building.
Yeah, more world building. More like maybe the history of LaBelle, not in any like flashbacks or anything, but she might run into the library and there's like a picture of LaBelle shaking the hand of another famous businessman
or
from history.
A really shitty children's book that the nanny reads one of the butler ladies reads to the kids.
Well, she's telling them the story of LaBelle. I'm like, that maybe they should have doubled down on that and her being
like a children's you can see the children's illustrations. That'd be interesting.
And like maybe LaBelle through the ages. Like here's him in ancient Rome shaking the hand of a famous
here's him
merchant.
shaking Caesar's hand.
Yeah,
here's him shaking Donald Trump's hand.
Donald Trump's too dumb to play any games.
Nobody would shake the devil's hand if he could.
Oh, definitely. I'm pretty sure he already... Oh, we'll talk about that later with the whole like rich people hunting poor people probably has happened before.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, like there's a bit at the end of the movie where like everything's come to a head and like people start she starts fighting back and family members start dying, and someone knocks over a lantern and the house catches on fire. And then that kind of, look, it might be a budget thing, which unfortunately...
It had a budget of like, what, $6 million? It wasn't high.
Unfortunately, I feel like this movie doesn't feel low budget, but also it does. Just because I feel like they don't use the budget to its maximum effect.
I think I know where you're coming from.
And I feel like this is the epitome of that like thing, where at the end, the fire starts and then you just don't see it for like 10 minutes. And then they're in the next room and there's no smoke. There's no like none of the characters remark on the smell. There's no visual indication that it's on fire. And then the scene goes on and on and on. And then like it cuts to the corner and just like the corner of the room's like on fire. But there's no sense of urgency or danger. Like it should have been, I'm trying to think of another example and I'm blanking, but it should have been like the whole house should have been on fire and they should have been like running through the halls trying to
kill her.
Trying to perform the ritual because the sun's coming up. So you've got the house on fire, you've got the sun coming up, you've got them trying to perform the ritual, and like they get on the table and the whole room's on fire. And it's like they're
a race against time.
Yeah, and it's like they're about to stab her and they're like, there's the things falling, the rafters are falling, they're on fire. And then when she escapes and defeats them, then when they all die, she should turn and the whole room should be on fire, and that's when you see LaBelle's image in the smoke.
That's much better than the cheesy
right. So what happens? So what happens in the movie is the room is completely fine. The fire is off screen, and you don't see it or hear anything about it. They're performing the ritual. There's no sense of urgency other than the fact that she's about to die and the sun's coming up. But again, like they should have doubled down on the whole. The sun's coming up. The ritual kind of. There should have been the creeping. What do you call it? The sunlight through the curtains.
Sunbeams.
Yeah, like the beam should have been moving higher and higher, so it's about to fill the room with sunlight, so it's dawn just visually. But what happens in the movie? It's just the room. There's no fire. They're about to kill her. She escapes, and then the sun comes up, and they're like, "No!"
You get that really old-timey Bale look. I'm like, he should have looked more evil.
Yeah,
he's got like this weird mustache.
But the sun comes up, and then they all like just pop. Like they literally
kind of cool.
I felt like the movie was darkly humorous and I appreciated that humor, but going along with my reimagining of the movie, I feel like that should have been where they all start like, I don't know, not melting, but like...
I watched License to Kill recently.
Yeah.
And one good part of that movie is when there's like
pressure chamber.
The pressure chamber.
Yeah.
Could have done something similar to that, where the guy's head slowly explodes.
Yeah, not necessarily, but I just felt like the whole like them just disintegrating to a pop of blood, like it was done just for humorous effect. I feel like if they made a deal with the devil...
Hellhounds.
And he's... Nah...
No, but I feel like there should be a supernatural, not just blowing up.
No, but like so,
or maybe even the spirit of LaBelle killing them one by one.
Not that. Like I feel like,
they could die from reasons about their exaggerated personalities.
Yes, so that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like them just spontaneously popping, like that idea is fine because there is the curse or whatever. But like the popping, like the dying has to come from. It's like a more horrific, more body horror kind of thing. So the fat guy could pop. That makes sense.
Or he just shits himself to death.
Yeah. The vain woman who loves her looks. Something could happen to her face.
Oh, what about the lady who does the coke? Right, she could just have like a nose.
Oh, she was dead. She just died from a heart attack to cocaine-related illness.
And it doesn't even have to be that. It could just be everyone dying of the same affliction. Yeah. But it should have just been a more like horrific or something that was tied to LaBelle or tied to the grandfather. Something like that. But instead, it's like they just pop, and it's kind of like I think the filmmakers just going like, that's funny.
But they can also just reuse the same CG effects on all the family. And it's a budget saving measure,
that's
really.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Once they develop the pop once, it's just like...
Yeah, but then she's leaving the house. The fire has barely touched the room at this point. Like, it's barely even a problem. She looks over and you see like a ghost LaBelle, and he's like a really cheesy CGI effect,
and it looks like he's from like the late 1800s, which I get,
which is fine. Like I don't mind the Van Dyke, mustache because it's that traditional. Like you see that image on the Bale's Gambit.
Just being picky, the devil would keep up with the current times.
He's probably not. He's probably not.
I think it fits.
Is he Satan?
Well, he's a devil at least working for Satan.
Yeah,
he's not Satan.
I feel like he should have had a more supernatural appearance.
No, like I like the man devil with the mustache. Like I like that idea. It fits the tone of the movie. It even fits my reimagining of the movie. It's just the way they do it, where he like CGI appears and he like nods to her and then he disappears. Like it should have been, like I said, with the fire and this creepy man like sitting there and being like, and he just looks at her and then she's like, fuck you, and like gets out of there, and then the house like implodes. I mean, that's a budget thing as well, but like it just everything could have been better.
One thing I did kind of like was the fact that her husband, who's trying to save her for most of the film, eventually decides he's like, screw it, let's just murder her.
Yeah.
I kind of like
that. Yeah, that made sense too.
I kind of wanted... This is going to sound terrible. I kind of wanted her to die.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were going to do.
I wanted her to die and then be like, okay, good, we can be rich again.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be like the moral of the movie, where it's like rich people get away. They get away with whatever they want to get away with because they have the money and the power and the influence.
I think I didn't like it at the time, but on reflection, I like the fact that he stabbed her in the back because it shows he's part of that same family. Like we'll go into it later, but the allegory of the billionaire versus the sort of common class is reinforced by that.
It made sense, but like the only reason he was trying to save her is because he felt she was his.
Yeah.
So
and he also apparently he wasn't connected to that family for years.
But he's like it feels like he was insecure. He liked the way she made him feel. He wanted to get married to her. Yeah, but he knew if he brought her back to the family,
he didn't want to get married to her.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have brought her back to the family.
No, he should have said they'll kill Dick psychos.
Exactly. And so he didn't tell her. So already like he's kind of a bad guy, even though he's sympathetic, he's trying to save her. Yeah. But then at the end where she rejects him,
he's like, well, you can die then.
Then he's like, you have no value to me, therefore you should probably die because my family's going to die. So that fits in with the whole like greedy rich people doing it. Selfish.
Yeah, the only redeemable one is Daniel, and played by Adam.
Yeah, Adam Brody.
And he wasn't 100% redeemable. He still tried to.
Yeah.
He still was not.
He's a more interesting character because he's like in a grey area where he's like, I want to help the family, but also I know what we're doing. I also like
the fact that he drinks a lot because he saw people die as a young boy. I'm like,
that's maybe just being a Satanist, kind of humanizes him, being forced into being part of that Satanist unit. Like if he's a decent guy deep down, but he's forced to do these sort of things. No, he's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
and I can, like I said to James, like if I was in that family, I'd probably be an alcoholic too.
Yeah, and I said the reason he's alcoholic is because he's the only one with a conscience.
Yeah,
but I like the flashback as well, where one, you're introduced to the game, and two, you're introduced to young Daniel, who's not forced, but he makes a decision that ends the life of a man trying to join the family when he tells the rest of the family members.
He stops his brother from seeing it happening as well.
So it's like
it's like sacrificing his own innocence.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the stronger points of the movie where it sets up a lot later on. Where I feel like they could have done that more throughout the movie with other characters and especially with Grace, who's
like how it's affected them over the years.
Actually, and now that I think about it, Grace doesn't really have much of a character.
No.
She's
not. No.
Yeah. Like you learn she grew up in foster care,
and that's it.
That's about it.
That's all we know about it.
So there should have been just everything needs to be more, just beefed up and doubled down on some of the kind of weird things.
I'd say that's fair. I think Adam Brody's Daniel was probably my favorite character. Yeah. He probably one of the better performances of the movie. I would say he was really good.
Yeah.
I love that scene where they're gonna drag a body. Him and his father are gonna drag a body away, and the father's like, "Okay, let's flip a coin." He's like, "What was he said? Oh, who gives a fuck? Let's just do it."
Oh yeah.
I love that scene.
That actually reminds me when so you know how I was saying like they set things up in the movie, they don't really pay off, or they pay off in a really unsatisfying way, or they roll things back just to make Grace suffer more. There is that bit where they're gonna carry Alex out, right, in the surveillance room.
Yeah.
Is that the bit where they flip the coin? But anyway,
yeah.
And anyway, and then the father leaves his gun, and they're carrying Alex, and he's like, the father's like, oh, I'm gonna go back and get my gun. He's like, no, just leave it. I was like, oh, Chekhov's gun. Like they're setting that up so Grace can find it later. That never comes back. You know, the elephant gun where she gets the big gun and puts the bullet in, and then it doesn't fire.
Same
like,
deal.
Never, like they set all these cool things up, and they never come back. The crossbow, I think that gets passed from Fitch to his
and no
wife.
one quite
or
really
something,
knows
or
how
his
to
sister.
use it.
Yeah, like that could have come back again at the end. I did like that bit where he's on the toilet and he's watching the YouTube tutorial of like
How to use
you and your crossbow. That was
Yeah.
funny. That was good.
I
like when he's texting his mate or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, what are you up to? Not much, just family stuff.
It's like, yo, dog. And it's like, ha.
yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Needed more emojis. But one of my favorite scenes in the film is when Grace falls into like the death pit or whatever, and she has to climb.
Oh yeah,
way
the
out.
goat pit.
I just like the contrast of the blood on her hand as she's climbing. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like, they should have doubled down on all that. Like, yeah, they should have. Like, the movie's not scary.
It needs more
It's-
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's an effective thriller in that you're like, oh, I hope she gets away, or don't go in there, kind of thing. But other than that, like, it's not scary. It's not really edge of your seat, like that tense. Like, they should have doubled down on the whole. Like, when she was in the goat pit, I was like, I thought she was going to be hiding, and then one of the goats was gonna what is it, like, bar? Is that what's the goat called? One of the goats is gonna call
Or headbutt her.
and then someone's gonna turn and
I think she should just stayed in the goat pit for the whole night, just chill with the corpses. They wouldn't have looked for her in there. No one's getting down in that pit.
yeah, she could have pulled the body over and just
like, yeah, sure, it's gross, but you're not going to get hurt anymore. Hey,
actually that could have been something where she hides down there and then they come and throw the maid's body on top of her. That would have been really fucked up. Yeah, they should have, like, the movie's really violent, but most of the violence is played for laughs or sort of, and because it's against the maids and the rich people are like accidentally killing the maids when they're trying to kill Grace.
it doesn't have a lot of weight.
It
because
comes
they're
off
less,
as,
they're like less than human.
yeah, it comes
It's
off
like, oh well, there's another butler dead.
It comes off as mean-spirited, even though I think the intentions of the filmmakers was to show that the rich people don't care. But it just felt, especially one of my least favorite bits of the movie is where the maid is in the dumbwaiter and she's like, oh, I'm not even supposed to be here. And Grace is like, get out, like, I need to hide in there. And then the maid calls out and says, she's in here. And then she like pushes the maid pushes the elevator button so the dumbwaiter closes and accidentally closes on her and she crushes herself. And I was just like, made me feel dirty. I was like, they should have really doubled down on the fact that it's the rich people that are the bad guys and Grace picks them off one by one, Die Hard style, but not as a Terminator thing, more of like one tries to kill her and she bumps him and he falls down the stairs, and then as the movie progresses and she gets hurt more, she gets more mean. And then and then she gets the gun, and then that's when she starts really fucking shit up. You know what I mean? Like, they should have really doubled down on that instead of doing this really weird tippy-toe dance for the first half of the movie where only the maids accidentally get killed in really horrible ways.
And then it's like, oops, I fired my crossbow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that maid. You damn you. Oh, well, we can get another one, wink,
but it's
wink.
like, the whole movie's allegory is basically just like, billionaires are like,
but
greedy and
they should have
vapid
doubled down on that. Like, made the movie about these horrible, disgusting, evil rich people.
And what the solution really is, just eat the rich.
Fuck yeah, eat the rich.
Well,
that's another thing. At the end of the movie where the house is on fire and she goes out and there's like police or firemen running around and they're like, oh, what happened? And she's like, in-laws. I'm like, yeah, that's a funny joke, but maybe she should have been like, rich people.
what would have been more
like,
interesting?
fuck them.
What would be more interesting is if they ended it with her inheriting the money, and she gets visited by the spirit of LaBelle, who's like, "Let's play a game."
I didn't think of that. Yeah,
Because would she? I mean, I don't know how the marriage works in the state in which they got married, but would she be able to inherit the fortune?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah. See, that's another. See, they probably.
So she's a millionaire too. What a hypocrite!
See, yeah, but that could have explored that. That would have been interesting. I feel like one of the things at the end of the movie, they should have done like a Jumanji thing where the house is on fire, and then it hard cuts, and the rubble of the mansion is all smoldering, and the whole mansion is just flattened. It's all raised to the ground. It's all ash, and then the camera slowly zooms in, and you hear an ominous theme, and then you see the box completely untouched by the flames.
And then LaBelle's chair.
Yeah, and then the movie should have ended, and it should have been like the end of Jumanji, where it's like, it's like gonna happen again, kind of thing.
If they make a sequel, LaBelle is chasing after her or trying to get to her because
she's technically.
LaBelle.
I mean, yeah.
And then they could
Till Death Do Us Part.
But their sequel would be called "Here I Come."
Oh no!
LaBelle's chasing her as a ghost.
Oh no!
Yeah. Ready or not, here I come. Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, like I was saying with the
more like LaFale.
LaFale, yeah. With the box, like I feel like the music of the movie is pretty standard.
Yeah.
Movie, orchestral score, but like I feel like that could have been more, more out there. But also like the box should have had like a Jumanji theme, like the drums. Should have had like its own ominous theme.
That'd be cool.
Like the game theme. Also, I did like that record they put on, the hide and seek song.
Yeah, old timey.
That reminded me of the Run Rabbit song from Get Out.
Yeah.
They always play. It's like it's that old timey. That was cool. Or they could have gone in the opposite direction and done like a synthy score and done like a cool like 80s kind of thing.
Yeah,
need more 9 Inch Nails composing.
more Trent Reznor. Yeah.
Get that Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross in there, and you're solved. Problem solved.
Even better, get David Lynch to direct this movie.
Oh god, that would be a completely different movie. That would just be like like Grace would be hiding in the dumbwaiter, and she like look in the corner, and there would be a hole in the wall, and then the camera would slowly zoom into the hole, and with like that droning noise,
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of ASMR, like David Lynch droning noise.
See, he got an honorary Oscar.
Oh really?
Yeah. The Academy gave him an honorary Oscar.
Like lifetime,
I guess.
Like
well deserved, I guess.
Well deserved.
Why do they do it when the Oscars aren't on, though?
I don't know. But everyone was there.
Okay.
It was probably because he's a bit of a risk if he got...
Oh, yeah, maybe because he's getting old.
If he got up on stage, he'd be like, none of you are filmmakers.
Yeah.
No, he'd just start talking all this esoteric
meditation,
weird stuff.
Let me tell you about transcendental meditation.
Yeah. Let me tell you about donuts.
No, I mean, and, putting our tinfoil hats on here, I'm sure there's been some billionaires that have probably had some satanic rituals every now and again.
Well,
is a movie, but they should have had based on a true story.
Based on a true story.
And not explained
probably. But like, like I was like, the movie should take place on a like rich people island.
Yeah.
Like, and then that way she has nowhere to run.
Well, Callum, what was that group we were talking about last night?
I'm pretty sure it's
Bilderberg?
the Bilderberg meeting.
Where it's a meeting where all the billionaires and like sort of world leaders get together and just do weird shit.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a bonding experience. And they can use information they learn in this meeting in the real world outside the meeting.
Against people.
So technically the whole meeting is a massive insider trading racket from what I can understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they're not allowed to attribute the knowledge they gain to any one person outside of the meeting. So it's like, that just sounds corrupt.
Oh yeah, but like it's like rich people, I think they might even say this in the movie. I can't remember. But it's like rich people are their own
species.
Yeah, like they're their own
world apart.
thing. Yeah, they're on such a different plane that it would make sense that they just hang around on an island together and they do weird shit. Like, and just no one...
I watched a documentary. I don't know if it was on YouTube or like, it was just like some feature thing. But it's like, they have events where they all just get naked and worship the sun and like... just really weird shamanistic activity.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And it's like, these are billionaires and they're just getting freaky with it. And it's like...
Yeah, like...
And I don't know, like there's no smoke without fire with these sorts of things, and just a general reminder that Jeffrey Epstein didn't.
Oh no,
didn't
Bohemian
kill
Grove.
himself.
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. The Bilderberg meeting is one which is closed off to the public.
Okay.
In which all the business leaders and titans of industry get together and discuss plans.
Yeah.
Which is still same ballpark, but the Bohemian Grove is a private gentleman's club, and it's got lots of traditions. They have their own symbols. It's some real eyes wide shut shit.
It's like Masons.
It's really
super...
they worship like the figure of the owl or something. It's really weird.
David Lynch
their main ceremony takes place in front of their owl shrine.
Oh god!
So this is what I'm talking about. This scene kind of, sort of happens already with with less murder, probably.
That's why the movie should have gone full into that.
It's also men only.
Yeah,
but of course it is.
Well, men until they bring the little girls in.
Well, just what I was talking about with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein had his own island.
Jeffrey Epstein killed himself while the cameras through his maximum security cell were conveniently turned off and no guards saw a thing. And he was in a suicide cell, so there was no blankets or anything.
One of you guys, I think, because we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island where they would fly out rich people and politicians.
He had a temple.
Yeah, he had like a temple there.
He had a goddamn temple.
Yeah.
Which man has his own temple?
When you're
secret temple.
When you're that rich and you can get away with anything, of course you're going to create your own weird, like, money worshipping owl religion.
Look, and the thing is, like, putting on our conspiracy hats here, it's like we like to think that these activities with billionaires, we'd like to think they don't go on, but they do.
Yeah.
Oh. And like a couple of weeks or whatever it was before Jeffrey Epstein got arrested and it all went down. He removed everything off his island. There's satellite footage of them basically destroying everything.
Yeah, the temple's like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's footage of them destroying the temple. Like, all this sort of quasi-religious Satanist stuff kind of really does happen.
Well, think about it this way. In terms of Jeffrey Epstein, there is a connection to this movie because nobody really knows how he got his money. He kind of just... He appeared.
Well, we assume it's blackmail.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
He got a job at some university, and then all of a sudden he's like a billionaire finance guy.
But that's the theory, is that he just kind of filmed all these rich people.
Yeah, I'm like, but if there is such a thing as legitimate black magic,
yeah, blackmail magic.
Yeah, that's it. Blackmail magic. Yeah,
yeah.
But look, I'm gonna be honest. We don't really talk about like political stuff in our show. Only
we do.
No, I mean like unmovie related stuff, but. If you seriously think he killed himself, come on, who's the crazy one?
It's like I said to you the last night. Like, even if he did, the investigation just stopped and everyone is not looking into it anymore.
The consensus was he's dead now. Let's why bother?
And it's
there are hundreds of victims.
Yeah.
In the sort of sex trafficking ring that he operated. Or had a part in. And it was connected to royalty, politicians.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was good friends with Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, apparently.
He also spent time with Bill Clinton.
And Bill Clinton. This is really nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And it's somewhat related to this movie, because the movie explores a lot of the same themes that the billionaires have with, weird religious...
Here's how far in. Epstein was so confident he could do whatever he want. He had a 12-year-old girl who was his massage therapist, in quotation marks. No.
Yeah.
And she would fly with him across the world, and he would just tell customs that she was his masseuse, and they would just let them go. There was no guardian. He was like, oh no, I hire her. And she's literally a child.
Rich people, man.
Like, that's like, they go through their own different customs. There's no oversight. They do whatever the fuck they want.
I don't want to live on this world anymore.
No.
That is ridiculous.
That's disgusting.
But my point is, it's like the LaBelle argument. Like, you're essentially immune.
Yeah. So they don't feel any remorse when they kill someone because it's so far removed from...
Yeah, because they know that once they kill this person, LaBelle will make it so they don't face the repercussions.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they should... But that's what I'm saying, is they should have doubled down on the whole... Yeah. The Damas family is the archetypal extreme version.
It would have been even cooler if the police arrive and then they kill her in front of the cops.
That's what I was going to say
and
as
then
well.
The police walk away. How everyone stops paying attention. It's like that.
Yeah. I was going to say is at the end when you see her out the front and the house is on fire and you see all the cops or whatever running around, I was like, they're going to just blame her, right? And say, oh, she lost her mind and burned down the house or something like that. Or, and then I was thinking, well, they're in this large private estate. The cops almost certainly been paid off in that area.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you know,
She could argue, though, because she could take them to the goat pit and be like, these corpses have been here for decades.
That's right. The
Yeah.
goat pit wouldn't have burned down.
But like that's another thing they could have done with the movies. Like when we were saying we thought she was going to die in the sacrifice scene, like then they could have cut and it could have been like everything's just been cleaned up and you know the cops are being paid off and just kind of like the next morning and the rich people go on about their lives.
Yeah.
Just like in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like they gave up on the whole Epstein investigation just because he died. It was like that's.
Also, I just love it. That I don't love it, but it's just like the weirdness of real life.
Yeah.
It's like the security cameras were like off or malfunctioning. The security guards were asleep when it happened.
Oh yeah, Epstein. Yeah. It's so shifty.
And then there are perfectly reasonable people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, he killed himself. It's not a conspiracy." I'm like,
oh god.
Like I understand that there is a general reaction to say that things aren't a conspiracy theory or Occam's razor.
Yeah.
You know, the notion that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one.
Yeah.
But sometimes in real life, you have to say some shit does stink.
What's more likely, the stars align or someone murdered this dude?
Exactly. Yeah.
Occam's razor would tell me that he got murdered because that is literally the simplest option than everything else going right.
Exactly. Like if a drug dealer who got busted on a deal was found dead in his cell, but like the cameras were off and the guards were away at the time,
it's murder.
Gang related.
Yeah, you'd be like
gang related.
Yeah, you'd be like, hang on a sec. But the fact that the most
high profile
witness, like how many rich and famous and you know politicians and like the fact that he died under those circumstances, it's like, come on, man.
I know.
Yeah,
we all know what this is.
Yeah, but yeah, so sometimes rich people do get away with it.
Yeah, eat the rich. Fuck 'em.
You know,
it's an interesting movie. It got us thinking about our boy Jeff.
Yeah.
Look, and this goes for the whole Bale gambit idea as well. But Bernie Sanders, I think it is Bernie Sanders, says that every billionaire is a policy failure.
Yeah.
It's like the systems that allow someone to have that much money and to have someone who's like the complete inverse, like in poverty. That's a problem. And that's what I think this movie is like, well, they have that much money because of the black magic.
Yeah.
Because in real life, I mean, we're just going to presume there is no such thing as black magic.
Yeah.
In real life, you have to fuck over someone to become a billionaire.
Exactly, but that's the thing is in real life there's no magic. They didn't sign a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
They just kept fucking people over.
It's like
and they inherited their wealth.
That's right. It's not paying workers.
Yeah, and they paid off the government to create loopholes in the law so they could
they don't have to pay taxes.
Expand their wealth. Like it's not magic, it's people being greedy and selfish.
I mean, if I was a film student, I'd write my essay on how LaBelle's Gambit is actually conservative politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you'd have like 2,000 words on that.
I feel like
I'll do our listeners a favor and I won't. We won't go into that.
In my reimagining of the movie, you can help. We'll write it together and it'll be like super like
super political and
lots of subtext.
Yeah. But yeah, one last thing is, if this movie didn't come out, it would be an interesting premise for Game Night 2.
Oh,
like
Game Night
2, Ready or Not.
Yeah,
it's like they get roped into this most dangerous game. Like
that's interesting.
Like, it's like they get put on an island, and it's like the characters from the first Game Night getting chased by these rich guys with guns. That would have been fun.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Decent enough movie.
It was all right.
Not that I liked it because I went in with no expectations.
Yeah, could have been better, but yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, should talk about Dolemite.
Yeah, so
something completely different.
Yeah, and now for something completely different.
So yeah, Netflix released a movie made by Eddie Murphy,
starring
Eddie Murphy as Rudy
Ray
Moore.
Yeah,
the Rudy Ray Moore story. So basically, it's his sort of Rudy Ray Moore's rise to fame. Basically,
so Rudy Ray Moore was a
musician,
comedian, like stage performer. In the
record store.
Clerk. Yeah. In the 70s, he had like this unique style of like rhyming, where he would like not an insult comic, but like that kind of. He would talk himself
like
up.
dirty poems and
he created this character called Dolemite, who was like a pimp kind of guy with a big hat and a flashy suit and a cane, and he would go do all these performances, and he had these albums. And then he made a like Dolemite movie, and it was like these really cheesy, low budget blaxploitation movies. And he became kind of like not a legend, but a kind of like a staple of that kind of 70s blaxploitation era. And now Eddie Murphy is starring in a movie about that, and like sort of about the making of Dolemite and how Rudy Ray Moore reinvented himself as like he's a failed musician, and then he kind of created the Dolemite character, and then became famous and recorded the albums, and then wanted to get the movie made.
But they also initially released the albums by themselves without a publisher.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have one of those original sort of records now, it'd probably be worth a fortune.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Like selling those sort of hand pressed vinyls would be worth a mint.
Yeah,
especially now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with all the hipster market.
Yeah.
No, but but yeah, we weren't going to review it properly. We just wanted to give our quick thoughts on it. I had seen the original Dolemite, 70s movie, and the semi-sequel,
the Hurricane or Hurricane.
Human Tornado.
Human Tornado. They're all on the streaming service Tubi now, apparently.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a free streaming service.
Yeah.
They have they specialize in B movies, which is perfect for our show.
Perfect for us, yeah. But yeah, and so I was excited to see this movie. Also, I'm sure like everyone else, I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan. But it's good to see Eddie Murphy finally kind of back in his element.
And this is probably my favorite Eddie Murphy movie.
This is his best movie in at least
20 years.
20 years.
And it's not...
And this is coming from someone who likes Daddy Daycare.
Hey, I have that on DVD.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. Also, not as good, but Meet Dave for a G-rated comedy about Eddie Murphy playing a spaceship who gets into funny situations. I laughed a few times. Pretty
and then
good.
you felt bad afterwards.
Yeah, but but yeah, Daddy Daycare is pretty good. But yeah, he hasn't this is his first R-rated movie in 20 years, and this is his best movie in probably that same amount of time.
It's so good, man. I was just really surprised at the quality of his performance,
and especially because he's talking about coming back to stand up, and so
please
this
be
is
a Netflix deal.
Oh, it has to be, right?
It has to be, man.
Yeah. But this is the Eddie Murphy comeback movie era. We're in it now.
It's
this
such
is
an optimistic
time.
film too.
Yeah,
that's what I like so much. I think you were saying there's no enemy.
Yeah, there's no real bad guy.
It's just a bunch of people trying to make something of themselves.
Yeah, it's just people who trying to get a movie made. It's just a positive movie.
I love that kind of that mini genre too, the whole making of a movie or an album.
And it's against all odds, they kind of overcome all the problems.
It's like a companion piece to Bowfinger.
Sort of, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just also love the fact that he's a guy with man tits. He's got a belly.
Yeah. But that's what made Dolemite so funny is this pudgy guy with this funny little mustache. But he's playing the macho,
he's supposed to be an action hero,
blaxploitation hero. It's so good.
I just love the fact
gets
that
all the women, and it's so
it's
good.
just so funny to see it now, because now when we have an action hero, they all have guns. They're all and they've always been ripped.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, we had Rick Hill doing the Lord's work. But my point is, it's a pudgy guy. I'm a pudgy guy.
Yeah.
I love to see pudgy guys on film.
Yeah. It's a good, they definitely doubled down on the whole body positivity thing, which is wasn't a 70s thing. It's a
modern
now thing. But yeah, it's just a really fun movie. It's funny.
Really surprisingly heartwarming
as well, mate. It's one of Netflix's better movies.
Yeah.
It's Eddie Murphy's best in quite a long time. So yeah, recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Go see it.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix.
Definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, and
also, he invented rap, so if you're a rap aficionado, check that out.
Also, we should mention, because you guys haven't seen Dolemite or
not the originals,
so
not the movies.
So I don't think you need to know who Rudy Ray Moore is to have seen the old blaxploitation movies, because the movie kind of explains most of that to you. But then, like we said, it's more just a positive movie about trying to get a movie made against all odds.
Yeah, but making your own luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Finding a way to express yourself if no one...
Yeah, and not compromising, even though what you're... Kind of reminds me of Ed Wood. Kind of not compromising, even though what you're doing isn't Citizen Kane, You're not going to be making the greatest movie ever, but it's just make what being passionate about what you're doing, and
which resonates with us on this show.
We're never going to be the Citizen Kane of podcasts.
No, we're not going to compromise either.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'd settle with we're the Dolemite of podcasts.
Of Northern Suburbs podcast. Maybe that's why we like the movie so much.
It resonates with us. All right, so moving on, we'll talk about, I think we mentioned this during the Ready or Not section. So Disney purchased Fox, and
we were like, I'm happy and angry.
Yeah, so as Marvel fans, happy that we can get, Fantastic Four and X-Men.
As film fans, we're distraught.
And as like anti, rich people monopoly.
Speaking of capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, we should. Speaking of capitalism, Disney runs like the biggest monopoly in media. But yeah, so they purchased Fox, and then we started hearing things of like they're not letting
independent theaters,
like theaters
and art house
play,
theaters.
play Fox
classic movies.
Yeah, movies. And I was like, oh, that's troubling. But now they've like doubled down on that, and it's like no one's allowed to show Fox movies anymore, even though Disney owns them and would be making
they're being
money.
Stuck in the vault, yeah.
And also that means that no Fox movies are going to get released on DVD or Blu-ray.
You know why
anymore.
they're doing this? Because they are allegedly, this is from what people are commenting, they're going to throw all those movies on the
Disney Plus,
the service.
Yeah, so they're going to.
But like, I don't want to see those movies on the service.
No,
I want to see them in my local.
They're trying to herd everyone to watching these movies.
But here's probably more than two problems, but we'll start with two. One, as far as I can remember, they've said Disney Plus is going to be a family-friendly service. So movies like Die Hard and Predator and other Fox movies don't really seem to fit. So
that is true.
Those might go to Hulu in the States, but what does that mean for here?
Stan, maybe?
Did Stan maybe, when they made that deal with Disney, did they maybe make a deal where they're like, we're going to be your Hulu, where after you remove all your stuff for Disney Plus, we'll get all the Fox stuff? Maybe. Most likely it'll probably go to Foxtel because Fox. And Australia. But it's also troubling because Disney Plus, like we were talking about a few weeks ago, where like I want to have a physical Blu-ray collection.
Yeah.
I don't want to, if I want to watch a movie, I don't want to have to, if I'm not already subscribed, I don't want to have to pay a subscription service just to watch that movie. So you're gonna have to reapply if you're not committed to paying the monthly fee, you're gonna have to pay a fee every time you want to watch a specific movie legally.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's dumb. Rather than just paying a one-time fee for that Blu-ray.
Yeah, and just as
ridiculous.
A footnote here, the idea of only having a movie on streaming that's been on DVD before, it's like. So you're relying on all of this gigantic library of films being on Disney's own servers, which is probably unreliable in the long run. Because, you're having... I'm assuming eventually they'll want 4K movies. Like, if they just stop releasing these movies on Blu-ray or even just the classics, that'd be terabytes, if not petabytes, of data that they'll want on these. If their end goal is like, let's put all the classics on... our servers so you can watch it without having to buy it or whatever the case is.
But you know what the problem is for me, though? In the video game industry, we're transitioning to games as like a rental service. So
games as a service,
with like Steam, for example, when you purchase a game on Steam, you don't own that game. You're essentially purchasing the rights to indefinitely rent it.
Yeah.
So technically, Valve can actually remove games from your library.
Yeah.
And that's actually been happened before when games being removed. With good old games, they actually flat out tell their customers if a game's being removed, download the DRM-free copy so you can still play it. So this, if they're going to stop releasing movies on Blu-ray, they're going to stop showing it at theaters. Essentially, this is them saying all of our movies are for rental only. Yeah, which I do not like at all.
It's like you pay for them, but we can take them away at any time.
Yeah, like let's just say, like one of the movies I saw people talking about was Alien. Yeah, there was a theater who wanted to play Alien as part of their Halloween event they're having through the month. Disney said no. So my problem is, let's just say I wanted to watch Alien and I don't own the DVD. They're like, well, you have to watch it on Disney Plus or whatever. But if suddenly whoever's at the top of Disney's like, I hate Alien, we're going to remove everything
Yeah.
from the service. Suddenly you have to, and this is in the hypothetical post-apocalypse
Yeah.
world where suddenly you can't go to a DVD store and buy Alien.
And it goes back to our
Well,
piracy.
you have to
argument.
download
Exactly.
it.
It goes back to our piracy thing where it's like, I'm someone who, I'm not a grumpy old man. Get off my lawn. I
Yet.
I like. I mean, I kind of am, but like I like technology. I trust most technology to a certain extent. Most people of our age are technologically literate to a point, like to a high degree compared to older generations. But I've always been the kind of person who's like, if I'm downloading a game or a movie like from a service like onto my hard drive, I don't trust that it'll always be there.
That's
Exactly.
right.
So that's why I always try to buy the physical copy of the game or
Because
the
hard drives
movie.
can fail.
Hard drives fail.
Hard drives fail.
You have a
Data
storage
online,
limit.
Yeah, online streaming services get shut down.
I couldn't watch Netflix today. I don't know if my internet was too crap or they're having issues or whatever. I couldn't
And
watch
like
Netflix
we said,
today.
the company could at any time be like, you don't own that anymore. We're taking it off our service, and you can't access it.
A while ago,
It happened on iTunes, and I'm pretty sure it's happened on Amazon.
a couple of weeks ago, we talked about watching Star Wars in 4K.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it doesn't have a physical release, so all the copies we watch are digital.
Yeah.
Now, hard drives die. We have to torrent this. CDs will not always be there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's 70 goddamn
But-
gigabytes.
So my point
Yeah.
is, we're lucky to have that on a USB, but USBs have an expiration
But this
date.
is why DRM free is so important. I've backed that up.
Yeah.
God knows how many times.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying with GOG, where they're like, "Hey, if we have to delete something, we're letting you know you can download it DRM free." That means you can not only just download on your computer once, you can copy it to USB, copy that to another hard drive, copy that to your friend's hard drive. That's.
But there's nowhere we can pay to have like a very high quality copy of that on disc. You know what I mean? Like, it's all ones we make ourselves, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like, I would love to pay Disney, frankly, fucking $200 for the set, the original trilogy in 4K. Like, I'll chuck money at you, man.
That's the thing. It's like Disney will make money from the Fox movies getting played at cinemas or getting released on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's not like they can. It's not like they're crushing the competition because
No.
now they own the competition.
And
That's
especially these
they
days.
already beat the competition by buying them.
And especially these days with the way movie theaters work. So back in the day, it was film reels, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it was hard drives. And now I'm pretty sure it's for some cinemas, it's streaming.
Maybe, yeah. I don't
As
know.
far as I'm aware, some cinemas now are like sort of like timed, like secure encrypted streaming.
Yeah.
So in a certain way, there's very little overhead for Disney giving the rights to these theaters now.
Yeah.
If
But
they have the
frankly-
current technology, I'm 90% sure it's streamed now.
And I'm sure it's not that expensive, even if it was a hard drive, because I'm
Yeah.
sure they rent the hard drives out. It's not like, in a sense, like, they're not. The
Oh, they'd
cinema
send them
wouldn't
back.
get to keep the hard drive.
No.
But like in some high-end theaters, it's basically streamed.
It's just greed. It's jealously guarding
but
your
it doesn't.
intellectual
Yeah,
property.
but it doesn't make sense. Like it feels like they're doing it almost out of spite.
Yeah,
Like
so you-
Fox's old news. We're Disney. We bought them
Yeah.
up so we can
You know
lock
how-
their stuff
It's
away
Disney-
and not
it's
show it
Disney-
anymore. But it doesn't make
You know
sense.
how-
Disney doesn't want the competition from its other departments. It just wants its Disney movies being played at the theaters, not its Fox movies.
So you know
That's
how there's
so-
that theory that the reason psychopaths are so good in business is because that's kind of like what they're built for.
Yeah.
Like that charisma. That
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like
most politicians and rich people just have
So it's like,
psychopathic,
think about Disney.
sociopathic
Think
tendencies.
about the Disney Corporation as a giant psychopath. It has eliminated the competition, but being a psychopath, it doesn't want to make people happy. It just wants to guard its own property.
Yeah.
So it's not going to play nice with the theaters. It's like, no, it's mine. You keep away.
Yeah.
And it's only going to sell. Disney's only going to show movies it wants to show, even though it owns Fox.
Yeah.
To Disney, Disney's more important than Fox Disney. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But see, like, I mean, I don't know legally how it works. They don't even have to use the Fox banner anymore, right? I don't even know.
I don't know. Legally, I'm not sure
Yeah.
if movies made before X date might have to.
No,
Still
like, no, I'm not talking about before X date. I'm like from now on.
Yeah. Oh, from now on, no, probably not.
So
Even though
they don't even have to. They don't even have to
Technically,
say
probably-
this is owned by Fox. This was once owned by Fox.
probably not. No.
Like
It's
if Deadpool, like if you watch Deadpool 1 and it has the Fox logo, and you watch Deadpool 2 and it has the Fox logo, and then you watch Deadpool 3 and it has the Disney logo, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't watch the movie for the logos.
No.
Yeah. I think it's just Disney trying to push its own agenda.
Yeah, it's
and
literally
Yeah.
some guy in a room being an asshole.
Yeah, we talk
Yeah.
about this or every time Disney comes up. It's the whole like revisionist history where they're trying to
Yeah.
shape the world
but
in
it's
their
also,
image.
It also probably
with
points
the ears.
to probably
In
also
the
points
Mickey
to
Mouse head.
internal division within Disney about Fox.
Yeah,
Because Disney is effectively hurting itself here. Because they bought Fox, they own Fox.
Mm.
Disney's continuing to hurt Fox. Regardless of what their intentions are, if they want
Yeah.
to move it into their own databanks, streaming service, or what have you, they're still hurting themselves. They're still hurting their own company.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that there's elements within Disney that are doing this because they still feel like Fox is still competition, even though it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very much a competition angle sort of
Yeah.
decision.
yeah, it's like a warped, like you said, Callum, like a rich person,
Are they
psychopathic.
still? Like, is Disney still threatened by Fox, even though they own Fox?
No,
Is that
there's,
what-
like I said,
it doesn't
I
make
think-
any
I reckon
sense.
there's like one executive in a room
You'd think,
who's just an asshole with a chip on his shoulder.
yeah, but you'd think they'd do what they do with Star Wars. It's like we bought Star Wars.
So we're gonna crush it.
Yeah, it's like
We're gonna destroy
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. Could you imagine if they did that? They bought Star Wars and they're like, Star Wars is getting locked away and never being released. What they did the
Opposite.
smart thing or the normal thing. We're gonna double down on Star Wars movies. One a year, possibly more. TV shows, video games, cartoons, merchandise. Why aren't they doing that for Alien or one of the other Fox properties? Like.
Because you can Disneyfy
Now-
Star Wars. You
but that-
can't really Disneyfy Alien.
But that's what I'm saying is the product won't be good, but they could do it. Why aren't they?
I don't
Like
think.
I don't want them to.
I don't think Ripley would be a very
I
good princess.
But that's what I'm saying is I would rather they lock them in the vault than make Alien
Yeah.
5 or whatever they're going to make a PG-13
But that's
kids movie.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
Fox is still threatening to Disney because it's not part of Disney's vision for itself.
maybe yeah.
That's my
It's
that's
not
my
part of their
take
squeaky
on it.
clean image. Yeah.
So they bought Fox to obviously get the rights back to Marvel, amongst other things, and maintain their domination of the industry. But at the same time, Fox isn't part of their clean image, so
Yeah.
we'll just throw Fox away because it's threatening to us.
I suppose they could make the alien queen from Aliens a Disney princess.
Well, but she's a queen. Yes,
A
queen.
little tiara.
Um,
I'm sorry. That was just like
I'm
I've seen images
yeah,
where the
I'm almost-
alien is
yeah.
an alien as a Disney princess.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they listened to our piracy episode and went,
Screw those guys.
Screw those guys. We're going to double down on all our like greedy, evil, nonsensical, spiteful business decisions.
Well, in
and-
America, there's that law that says a corporation is essentially a person.
Yeah,
Not all people are good.
true. It's just like
Much depresso.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's everything we were talking about with the radio and
Well,
not
luckily-
in real life.
We can download movies if we absolutely have to.
Yeah, well,
But
May
like I
or may
said-
not.
No. Like I said, for the time being, we can go out and buy the movies we want to see because
Yeah.
Disney haven't pulled Blu-rays off the shelves
That's
yet.
actually, I was going to talk about that. Do you remember the other night? I think I was talking to Nathan about at JB. They have the really cheap Blu-rays, the ones like $5 and under.
Yeah.
And I told you like the reason they're that cheap is because the distributor who released them
right, yeah.
like went under or then they're deleted titles, which mean they're no longer getting released. And I told you like look out for that logo, look out for that logo.
Because we got Mystic River for $4.98.
Yeah, exactly.
Bargain.
Yeah. But what I noticed, I went back to JB the other day, and I noticed that a lot of those movies that I was telling you about are actually Fox movies. So they've already been deleted out of the system quite some time ago, and now they're all like $5-6. So I went to JB the other day and just got a stack.
Let me know which ones.
Yeah, I've got a stack of Fox movies like on Blu-ray for like $5 each.
Let me know. Seriously, let me know
Yeah.
which ones you send me a photo and
Yeah.
then I'll see which ones I'll go out and see if I can buy a copy.
So like, and that's my thing is now I'm afraid if these
Yeah.
movies aren't getting
Now-
released
now
on
we become
Blu-ray
hoarders.
again, now I'm like, I'm going to have to go out and seek all these before they become like really ridiculously expensive collector's items.
What a time to be alive.
It's just, I don't know.
Do movies not make money anymore?
I mean, they
make more money than ever,
Yeah,
but-
they make record profits every time a new one comes out, and yet
But how much
we
of that
still
goes to
have
the
to deal.
shareholders?
we still have to deal with, as consumers,
Like,
with red tape and timed exclusives.
It's like what you were saying with Ready or Not.
Subscription fees and...
It's like what you were saying with Ready or Not. That was made by Fox Searchlight, and you leaned over and said, so that's never coming to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But that movie made 10 times its budget in profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't they come to Blu-ray?
No, but it's like
it might come to Blu-ray, but
it
like
was a joke, but you know what I mean.
But the point still stands. These movies, even the smaller ones, still make money.
Yeah.
Yet, I bet you
And
that
all
Disney
the,
will look at this and will say it only made $60 million.
But like movies like Ready or Not or Jojo Rabbit, which is also Fox Searchlight, those were in development before Disney purchased Fox. But going forward after that, that's maybe a different story.
Am I wrong in reading somewhere that Disney's slowing down Fox Searchlight as well? They're not releasing as many movies?
I'm pretty sure as soon as they bought Fox, they slashed the staffing of all the Fox side of things. They slashed, they cancelled all in development projects. That sounds slashed.
I mean, obviously I don't know the law, but that sounds illegal.
No,
so
they
own it. They can do it.
I know, but it just feels so corrupt to buy a company who is your opponent and then be like,
yeah,
we're going to bring the hammer down. You're hurting yourself at that point.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused. I know I'm not the smartest person in the world. I don't know the legality of it. I don't know the business side of it. But really, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
you got all these properties now.
I mean, it's
lock them away.
It's not like Disney doesn't make money.
Yeah, but it's like
what's the problem here?
Yeah.
Are they trying to save money in the budget?
I guess it all comes back to that psychopathic image they have of themselves. So it's like, we're Disney, we have to...
Then again, I'm reading about this issue at the moment with Fox Searchlight, and from 3 weeks ago, apparently it's been business as usual, and they haven't mentioned any cuts. And then one of the people in Fox Searchlight, they were being taught, there was an interview, and he goes on to say, people forget that Disney owned Miramax for many, many years, and Miramax released all kinds of stuff that Disney probably wouldn't approve of.
Yeah. But see, that's why... But this is why the news is so confusing, because when they purchased Fox...
I also thought I heard, cut.
Yeah, that definitely... I'm pretty sure that happened. But on top of that, when they purchased Fox, I was like, well, they can still release stuff like Deadpool and Alien, like the violent stuff, just under the Fox banner.
Yeah.
The parent company is Disney, and they make the profits.
Yeah.
But then their brand name and their image is not tarnished, like with Miramax. They didn't put the Disney logo before the Miramax logo. They just put the Miramax logo.
Of course.
So I thought they were going to do the same with the Fox stuff. But now with this stuff where they're putting it in the vault, it's like, why? Like, you don't have to attach the Disney logo. You can still just use the old Fox logo because you own it.
Again, it goes back to what
you're going to be making the money anyway.
It goes back to my opinion on the issue, reaffirming my stance that is because Disney doesn't want to share the sort of
praise.
It doesn't want to share the theater with Fox. Fox.
I think
even though Disney is Fox.
I reckon we'll find out. I reckon you can't, because this has been news. This whole thing about Disney not allowing theaters to show certain films. I think eventually we'll find out. I think that this is something that will actually resolve. So
I feel like the superhero movies are like Disney's #1 goal and Star Wars, and it's like
they're just gonna.
But Disney's plan is to have these movies pretty much all year round, and then you're like, well, you don't need Fox because we want people to go see this.
I suppose what it might be is, how about you don't play Alien, and how about you play fucking Ant-Man 3?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's what's happening. I think Disney's like, well, we want people to. It's like Disney wants to curate theaters.
Yeah, it's like Disney Plus is your one streaming service where all the stuff is on. You don't buy anything else. You don't buy Blu-rays. You just subscribe to the ongoing service. They'll eventually raise the price more and more and more. And all the stuff that comes out of the movies is just the Disney Princess live action remakes,
kid stuff, hero stuff,
cartoons, Pixar stuff, and superhero stuff,
and that's it.
And Star Wars,
the stuff that makes $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's all they want you to go see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's a very negative opinion. But I think
it's very cynical. But
it's very cynical, but I think that's the way Disney is approaching it.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Like, they're just this whole HBO succession.
Because I'm sure, technically speaking, a theater that has in-game playing will earn more money than a theater that has for just example's sake, Indiana Jones and the latest Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're going to have more bumps in seats for Ant-Man than you will for Tomb Raider.
That's probably
Indiana
still,
Jones,
yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, they're like, that stuff's old. Yeah, it's like, won't make as much money. But, I don't know. Fuck them.
And that's why you should have your own home cinema, people.
Yeah, we're in such a weird like situation here, like where we're so like anti-Disney monopoly and so anti-Disney's corruption and
everything they stand for.
Yeah, like what do you call it? Like controlling the flow of information, misinformation, and revisionist history, and like their whole like just business practices. Like we're so against that. But it's like we love Marvel so much, and it's like we have this show, and we love watching movies and TV shows. It's like, well, it's like we have to consume.
I feel
it
bad
and
saying
watch
no.
it and-
If I could snap my fingers and I could be like, no Marvel movies, but like cinema goes back to normal, Fox goes back to normal, I probably would.
Well, you mean like the 90s? Like the 90s
Yeah,
kind
if
of
I could be
movies?
like, I'll snap my fingers, and then Disney no longer controls everything, I probably would.
Get your Infinity Gauntlet out.
Yeah.
It's like we joke with Jeff Bezos, where it's like, yes, we want that $1 billion Lord of the Rings series. We want that more than anything. Like, we would die for that series. But also, maybe that $1 billion could go to, like, feeding the homeless.
Saving the planet.
You know, fighting climate change or, you know, like
we'd survive.
We're in this weird, between a rock and a hard place. Like we want it, but also,
you know,
it's against our principles.
Martin Scorsese couldn't get his movie made.
Yeah.
That ends our point, basically.
Martin Scorsese can't get The Irishman made, but they'll let Rian Johnson make The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Insert alarm. My bad. But still.
Oh, fuck. Now I have to edit in that. I hate when I have to do that.
I'm sorry. But, you know, my point is, it's like Disney, like, I mean, not just Disney, but like the film industry as a whole.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck Martin Scorsese. No one cares about his kind of like, you know, his older style of filmmaking.
I guess it comes with the Fox thing we're talking about. It's like, fuck those old movies. Yeah.
There's no explosions in this shit.
Yeah. You can't market Predator to children. Yeah. It's like, you got to get rid of that. You can't put mouse ears on the. Oh, you could. Callum, we're going to write that as well.
Okay, I'm down.
Disney versus Predator. Mickey Mouse versus Predator.
It'll be easier now that they gave Predator autism.
The Predator wanted autism. He didn't get it.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I forgot.
That fits into Disney's audience, I think. Oh, God.
Thank God I'm not editing this show.
I apologize. Should I cut that out? I don't know.
It happened.
It happened. I don't know. I'll probably leave it in. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't apologize. We didn't make that shitty film.
No, I just meant the whole like Disney's. Yeah.
It was a bit inappropriate.
But,
I will. We're not. I'll apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But yeah, speaking of Disney and their bullshit, the Mandalorian comes out in like 2 weeks.
The trailer looks interesting. When does Disney Plus launch here?
Well, I think it comes out in the 19th, even though it's supposed to launch in the 12th everywhere else. So we have to wait.
Yeah, of course, because Australia.
Flying that Jolly Roger flag. Yeah. But anyway.
Is it one a week or all at once?
I think it's one a week.
Oh, yeah, this is Disney.
I can wait.
Yeah. But this is the thing is like we're in that rock of the hard place where it's like don't want to support Disney, don't like Star Wars anymore. But it's like I don't want to be the one guy who hasn't seen the show. And it's like everyone's like it doesn't like
you know back in the olden days.
I'm so confused.
I just wish Disney would be like, you know what? Instead of making all these TV shows, we're just going to spend all this money on hiring authors to write science fiction novels.
Yeah,
you know
but science fiction novels don't make $1 billion every time they come out. You know.
Yeah.
Also, it's also like because we have the show, it's like people kind of expect us to talk about it. But also, we don't have that many listeners, so it's like we could talk about whatever the fuck we want.
I see the Facebook metrics. We reached 98 people.
But that's the thing is, every time we talk about Star Wars, our like metrics spike. Our audience listeners spike.
It's because we have spicy hot takes.
Yeah, spicy. Very spicy. Speaking of hot takes and directly related to Star Wars. The showrunners of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss,
who ruined D&D.
Yeah, D&D. Who I think people are started calling them 2D, which I don't know if that's an effort to like divorce them from D&D, which is besmirching the good name of Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, whether D&D or 2D, whatever you call them, the idiots who ruined Game of Thrones. There was a Q&A panel recently where they straight up admitted they didn't know what they were doing, and it's
the Ryan Johnson thing. It's like, oh, this is going blind. It'll be fine.
But they also like admitted to like not liking the fantasy elements and trying to play those down and trying to reach a wider audience, and they're just fucking rich. Again, it ties into a whole discussion. Rich douchebags who came from money and have no talent, were just allowed to do whatever they want because they came from money. And so, my son wants to be a screenwriter, throw some money at the guy and he'll, get him a job kind of thing, So it's that kind of thing. But then, because they were announced to be making a new Star Wars movie or series of movies.
Some context. From what I understand, they were going to do more Game of Thrones episodes. But then...
Oh, yeah, we already talked about that a while back.
But then they cut those episodes down so they could go and make the Star Wars.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, like...
now they've dropped out of Star Wars.
So now they're not doing Star Wars anymore either.
What a waste.
But it's like... But when we heard they were doing Star Wars, we're like, well, it's a match made in heaven. These idiots who ruin Game of Thrones who don't know what they're doing, and the idiots who make these shitty Star Wars movies who don't know what they're doing, working together... Then we heard Ryan Johnson was making his trilogy, which is like, oh, well, the idiot who made the worst Star Wars movie is now making another trilogy. It's like, it's all match made in heaven. And then I heard there was rumors that D&D and Ryan Johnson were working together on the trilogy. And it's like, what the fuck? It's like Disney listens to our show and is just trying to piss us off.
All those times I said, we know Bob Iger listens. I wasn't lying.
Yeah, well, he listens, but then he, out of spite, he does bad. Well, it's probably not his fault, but anyway.
It's not his fault anymore.
Yeah, not his fault anymore. But, and then, now D&D are leaving the Star Wars project.
To go to Netflix.
Because they signed this huge mega deal at Netflix, which is concerning again. It's because, like, we always try to champion Netflix, but it's like, what crappy show are they going to make there? Or shows or
movies? They're going to oversee The Witcher season 2.
They can't ruin they can't ruin The Witcher.
Yeah.
Because that's being made already.
Yeah.
And they can't ruin Cowboy Bebop.
They were going to make that.
They could ruin Ghost in the Shell.
They could ruin Cowboy Bebop because a whole thing's been filmed because John Cho hurt himself.
Yeah, but hopefully it's too late in production.
Insert themselves into that. Yeah, no, that won't do. But they were going to make that show like a few years ago. They were going to make a show. I can't remember what network that was on. It was like, what if the Confederacy won the Civil War?
Yeah, that could be interesting. Though.
Yeah,
and then a lot of
that
people
could be interesting, but not if those guys wrote it. You know what I mean? And
we want what's his name? Damien Lindelof. He did Leftovers and Watchmen. I want him to make that show.
That segues into my next.
A lot of people didn't want that show made because they're like, it's going to.
The racists don't want that show made because it makes them look bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like that show could be good if it was written by someone
intelligent,
and it was subtle and was a commentary on the stuff we're facing now, and wasn't a secret dog whistle to the people who would actually like that reality to have existed. But these guys are not the guys to do that.
Yeah.
All they did is go, wouldn't it be cool if the Confederacy, like, we made a alternate history movie? Like,
they watched The Man in the High Castle and they're like, we can make this American.
Like they I don't think they're smart enough or have, the foresight to
pull it off convincingly.
Exactly, yeah. So hopefully that's not coming to Netflix, whatever they're doing there. I don't know. But they're not doing Star Wars, which, again, in a weird kind of place where I'm like, good, but also Star Wars is the perfect place for them because then I don't care if it's bad. It's already ruined, so they can ruin all they want. But if they ruin other stuff, it's I like other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But yeah, the Damon Lindelof point segues into Watchmen, the series.
I still haven't seen the pilot.
I watched the first 2 episodes are out.
They good?
I watched them this afternoon.
What? 2 questions. Is it good, and do I need to have prior knowledge?
So far I like it. I think you guys will like it, and we'll have to wait till the season's finished, but there's like a lot of cool shit to talk about, and I like the way it kind of deals with certain things. But to your second point, you don't necessarily have to have read the book.
We have the book at home.
But,
I know,
but it will make it so much better.
I'll just watch the motion comic.
Oh God!
You know, we've talked about
we talked about this. That poor voice actor who
the motion comic would be a masterpiece if they had
voice
more than one
cast.
guy.
Yeah. Oh God! I hate to shit on that guy because he worked really hard, but fuck, when he does the voice of Silk Spectre, I want to kill myself.
Go on.
Yeah. So you don't have to, but like I feel like you should. At the very least, if you watch the movie, which is different from the novel, and the Watchmen series is a sequel to the novel and not the movie, because the movie changes things. I mean, you've seen the movie, so you know the general story. But yeah, if you know the novel, then it's just a much richer.
Do you have to have any knowledge of the new Watchmen comics?
No.
No.
It's not connected to those at all.
Because they
those don't exist.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because
I think we talked about this on the show.
I don't give a shit. That's a war crime as far as I'm concerned.
Those should never have existed. Those don't exist. That's like. Do you remember when, like 10 years ago, when the Watchmen movie came out, and a guy, like an animator on YouTube, he made a Watchmen like a Saturday morning cartoon commercial, like as a joke. Like he's like, now they're gonna make Watchmen everything. So he made this really funny, like cheesy Saturday morning cartoon of like Watchmen, and it's like, huh. But yeah, like no, it's really good. It's HBO, so best place for it.
The costume design. I've seen pictures, and the costume design looks really
weird. It looks weird. Looks really nice. You know, no content restrictions, swearing, violence, nudity, all that great stuff. You know, it's super weird. Great cast, great acting. Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor do the music, so got that. And yeah, it deals with some really interesting stuff from the comic book, but also kind of obviously commenting on stuff that's happening now. And like we were just talking about with the D&D's Confederacy show or whatever, where it's like they kind of do that kind of thing where they're kind of like, because it's set in the alternate Watchmen universe, there's like a sort of racial white supremacist movement going on based on Rorschach and all this like weird kind of, and they kind of do these flashbacks to history showing like these, you know, African American, you know, communities. And so it's a lot of interesting stuff, which we'll have to see how that plays out, because it could shit the bed real quick. Like it could it could get to episode 5 and they're just like, we don't know what to do.
I trust in Lindelof.
Yeah, I trust in HBO as well.
Yeah.
Because he's got a very good track record.
Well, he had a spotty track record until recently. He kind of redeemed himself. Because don't forget, he was one of the main forces on Lost. And then he was the guy who rewrote Prometheus to
Never
make
mind.
it Prometheus.
Never mind.
Yeah. It wasn't until The Leftovers that people were like, hey, this guy's actually pretty interesting. And now I think this show follows in the vein of Leftovers, where it's like a weird semi-post-apocalyptic alternate history, you know, kind of thing. And so it's like much more interesting. And
is Alan Moore's name connected? No?
Because Alan Moore...
I know, he doesn't own the rights.
Lindelof said that... Was it Lindelof that
he
said
thinks
that
Alan
he
Moore
reckoned
put a curse on him.
Good, put a curse on him.
But like, because Alan Moore doesn't put his name on any movies or TV shows based on his work. If you've ever seen any movie based on Alan Moore, it'll never have his name on it. Yeah. But what's funny is at the end credits, it says written by Damon Lindelof, and then next credit it goes based on the comic book co-created by Dave Gibbons. And then it goes to the next, and it's like it's so awkward. It's like, oh. But no, but that's the way Alan Moore wants it. It's not like he's not getting the credit. Like that's the way he wants it, and like props to him for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the ultimate like fuck Hollywood guy. We're talking a big game, but we'll be there in the seats paying the money. We'll be paying Disney till the end of time. But he's the ultimate like fuck everyone. Doesn't give a fuck.
Genius though.
Yeah. Oh, best writer. Oh, Neil Gaiman's up there.
Alan Moore's better than Neil Gaiman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because in terms of he wrote a novel called Jerusalem.
Yeah. Did you finish that?
I did. Okay. No, so I skipped one chapter.
Was it last week?
I skipped one chapter that was 700 pages.
No, I read it. No, I skipped one chapter because do you remember when I was trying to read Ulysses?
Yeah.
So Ulysses is fine until halfway, and then I'm not smart enough anymore because it turns into like just it's like word salad.
Yeah.
So
Maybe you are smart enough and the book is dumb.
Well, there's no. So scholars still debate today whether or not
Whether it's a
Joyce
piss
was
take.
like, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a part in Alan Moore's Jerusalem where it's the story of James Joyce's daughter, and he emulates the style of James Joyce.
Yeah.
And it's done in a really good way, but I don't know fucking time.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
I was like, nah, next chapter, and then it goes on with the normal stuff. But that novel, incredible.
Remember when I was like congratulating you, shaking your hand for finishing it?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, do you have to do the same thing for Jerusalem? It's
I
like,
can't shake his hand though because he technically didn't finish it.
chunkies.
Oh, yeah, no, I skipped that chapter, but I don't have time for it. There's so many good shit
At a
to
certain
read.
point, and the certain point when you get to that weird word salad thing, it's like your eyes kind of glaze over and you're not even
'cause
reading anymore.
It kind of gives you a headache.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, you have to connect, things you're reading to things that happened before, and then it's not linear. It's it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but Alan Moore, genius.
Oh, yeah.
You still haven't read From Hell, have you?
I haven't found it because I want to buy it, and like the only
From Hell.
I want to get one of those hardback copies that cost like $1 billion.
From Hell is like the most genius thing I've ever. Like it blew my mind. I was like, holy fuck! Like I think that's better than Watchmen.
Yeah,
like, it blew my fucking mind. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
so
I've heard good things.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Oh, The Last of Us 2 was delayed until May 2020.
It was like also Watch Dogs.
A bunch of other games.
Which is,
but
honestly,
fair enough.
Yeah, but
I feel
now
people seem to be taking it really well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
like I'm not angry about it.
I would rather them take an extra 6 months or even a year and pay their staff appropriately.
Well, yeah.
And like no crunch time.
No, yeah. I remember when we were talking about how they announced the date in to be February, and I was like, "That's
more time for us to play Death Stranding and Cyberpunk."
But here's my problem: is like I was like happy when they said it was going to be released in February. I was like, "That's so soon." I thought it was going to be end of 2020.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to polish it. Now it's mid 2020. But I was like, well, now that fucks up my plans because Cyberpunk comes out in April 2020.
Yeah, that's bold.
So you can't not play Cyberpunk to play Last of Us, I was like, then I have to replay the first Last of Us to play. I'm like, there's just too many good games. I can't even right now. I've been
It's
like,
also
binging.
crazy because March is when Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out.
Another game. Yeah, I've been binging all these TV shows trying to get them out of the way so I can play more games, but I'm like, I don't have time. And then Death Stranding comes out, I think next week. I'm like, shit, now I gotta play that. I was like, oh no, it's too much. But yeah, excited. We'll talk about that, if not next week, the week after, or and when Watchmen finishes.
Oh, is it Conan O'Brien's in Death Stranding?
Is he?
Yeah, he gives you a suit.
You get a free suit from him that helps you swim in the river or whatever.
And it's Conan. It's Conan O'Brien as Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. Does he do the voice as well?
Yeah,
it's Conan O'Brien character as Conan O'Brien.
Because I know there's a few cameos where they just
it's Conan as Conan. It's Conan O'Brien as Conan O'Brien with an otter suit.
Yeah.
And you're swimming down the river, and if you're wearing Conan O'Brien's otter suit, your character makes a funny little otter motion, and it's pretty cool.
Kojima is such a weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking hell.
Alrighty, let's get out of here. I think that's enough for today.
That's enough. Alrighty. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tuesday Review AU. Follow me on Instagram at Channel Drifter, where I post every time I watch a movie and give a little recommend or not recommend. I've been watching so many movies and has no time to talk about them on the show, but you can keep up with what I've been watching there. In the Tall Grass on Netflix, highly recommended. You can find our previous episodes on your favorite podcasting app, so be sure to subscribe. If you like video games, check out Callum and Jake and Nathan's show, Sunrise Arcade, where they do video game news and reviews. Our friend Matt has his automotive discussion show called Car Talk, TORQUE. Be sure to check both of those out. And make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Tuesday Review on iTunes. It helps us out a lot. Thanks everyone again. Adios, cousins.